The role of Alcibiades, a key figure in the Peloponnesian War. Alcibiades was one of the most dynamic, controversial, and influential figures of the Peloponnesian War. Brilliant yet unpredictable, he embodied the complexities and contradictions of Athenian society. As a skilled orator, general, and politician, Alcibiades shaped the course of the war, switching allegiances between Athens, Sparta, and Persia, each time altering the balance of power. His ambition and charisma made him a force to be reckoned with, but his personal flaws and shifting loyalties contributed to the instability of Athens and the eventual downfall of its empire. Part 1. The Rise of Alcibiades. Alcibiades was born into a wealthy and influential Athenian family and was raised under the guardianship of the philosopher Pericles. Charismatic, handsome, and exceptionally intelligent, he quickly attracted attention in Athens, earning admiration as well as envy. Alcibiades trained under the philosopher Socrates, who saw in him great potential but was wary of his unchecked ambition. Alcibiades' charm, wealth, and skill in rhetoric made him popular with the people, while his athletic prowess and courage in battle won him respect among the Athenian military. By his early 20s, Alcibiades had already established himself as a talented military commander and a persuasive political figure. His confidence and daring set him apart from other leaders in Athens, and he harbored a deep-seated belief that Athens was destined for greatness. However, his vision for the city often clashed with the more cautious, defensive strategy endorsed by traditional Athenian leaders, like Nicias. Alcibiades believed that Athens should not only defend its empire but expand it aggressively, a vision that would eventually lead to one of the greatest turning points in the Peloponnesian War. Part 2. The Sicilian expedition. Ambition turned to disaster. In 415 BCE, Alcibiades presented his boldest and most ambitious plan yet, the Sicilian expedition. He persuaded the Athenian assembly to launch an invasion of Sicily, targeting the powerful city-state of Syracuse. Alcibiades argued that by conquering Sicily, Athens could secure vast resources and expand its empire, positioning itself as the supreme power in the Greek world. The assembly, captivated by Alcibiades' charisma and vision, voted in favor of the expedition, despite objections from more cautious leaders like Nicias, who feared the risks involved. Alcibiades was appointed as one of the generals leading the campaign, but almost immediately, scandal struck. Just before the fleet set sail, statues of the god Hermes were desecrated throughout Athens, and Alcibiades was accused of being involved in this act of sacrilege. His enemies in the assembly seized upon the accusations, using them to discredit him and calling for his recall to face trial. Although Alcibiades denied involvement, the political pressure forced him to abandon the campaign and return to Athens. However, fearing for his life and certain he would face conviction, Alcibiades defected to Sparta instead. Part 3. Alcibiades in Sparta, a shift in allegiance. Alcibiades' defection to Sparta shocked Athens and marked a turning point in the war. Once a champion of Athenian glory, he now offered his services to its greatest enemy. Alcibiades quickly won the trust of the Spartans by sharing Athenian military strategies and advising them on how to counter Athens' strengths. His most impactful suggestion was for Sparta to establish a permanent fort at Decelia, in Athenian territory. This fortified position disrupted Athenian trade routes, isolated Athens from its resources, and weakened the city's economy and morale, contributing significantly to the eventual decline of Athenian power. While in Sparta, Alcibiades continued to display his strategic genius, but his behavior also aroused suspicion. Known for his luxurious lifestyle and charm, he soon earned the disapproval of the conservative Spartans. Rumors circulated that he had seduced the wife of one of the Spartan kings, and when his enemies gained influence, Alcibiades was forced to flee once again. This time he sought refuge with Persia, the empire that had long been a foe to the Greeks. Part 4. Alcibiades and Persia, a game of diplomacy. In Persia, Alcibiades proved to be as adaptable and cunning as ever. He established himself as a trusted advisor to the Persian satrap Tissaphernes, using his knowledge of both Athenian and Spartan strategies to his advantage. Alcibiades' goal was to position himself as an indispensable asset, hoping to leverage Persian influence over the Greek city-states to his favor. While advising Tissaphernes, Alcibiades suggested a policy of maintaining a balance between Athens and Sparta, offering just enough support to each side to prolong the conflict. This would weaken both powers, ensuring they could not threaten Persian interests. Through this strategy, Alcibiades hoped to increase his own power and, perhaps, find a way to return to Athens in a position of strength. Meanwhile, the extended war strained both Athens and Sparta, as Persian support oscillated, shifting the balance of power back and forth. Part 5. The Return to Athens, a hero reclaimed. Alcibiades' maneuvering eventually paid off, and in 411 BCE, the political climate in Athens shifted in his favor. The Athenian government, desperate for a military victory and in need of his expertise, invited Alcibiades to return, promising him forgiveness for his past transgressions. Alcibiades returned to Athens as both a hero and a controversial figure, welcomed by the public but mistrusted by some within the political elite. Under Alcibiades' command, the Athenian navy scored several significant victories, briefly restoring Athenian morale and renewing hope for an Athenian resurgence. His strategic prowess and personal charisma once again captivated the people, and he was given substantial command over Athenian forces. For a moment, it seemed that Alcibiades might be the key to turning the tide of the war in Athens' favor. However, Alcibiades' success was short-lived. In 406 BCE, during the Battle of Notium, he left his fleet under the command of an inexperienced officer, who then suffered a significant defeat against the Spartans. The Athenian assembly, furious and humiliated by the loss, blamed Alcibiades and stripped him of his command. Once again, he went into exile, taking refuge in the countryside, away from the city he had once sought to lead to greatness. Part 6. The Final Exile and Death of Alcibiades. Alcibiades' final years were marked by a restless search for a new path to power. With both Athens and Sparta now viewing him with suspicion, he retreated to Phrygia in Asia Minor, living under the protection of a Persian satrap. But his past had not been forgotten, and Alcibiades had made many enemies on both sides. In 404 BCE, he was assassinated, reportedly by Persian agents acting on Spartan orders. The death of Alcibiades marked the end of one of the most turbulent and impactful lives in Greek history. He had been a soldier, a statesman, a traitor, and a hero, switching loyalties and shaping the course of the Peloponnesian War with each move. To the Athenians, he was a symbol of both their ambition and their flaws. A man who embodied the city's strengths but also its vulnerabilities. Part 7. The Legacy of Alcibiades. Alcibiades' legacy is one of brilliance tempered by betrayal, ambition marred by hubris. His career illustrates the risks of personal ambition and the fragility of political alliances. His strategic insights, especially in advising Sparta on the occupation of Decelia, had a lasting impact on the course of the war, yet his constant shifts in allegiance revealed the dangers of placing personal gain above loyalty to one's state. In a larger sense, Alcibiades represented the best and worst of Athenian democracy. His charisma and eloquence allowed him to sway the assembly to his vision, demonstrating the power of oratory and public opinion in a democracy. However, his ability to manipulate public sentiment for his own ends also revealed the vulnerabilities of democratic systems, which can be susceptible to demagoguery and individual ambition when not balanced by restraint and accountability. Despite his flaws, Alcibiades' influence on Greek history was profound. He showed the world the power of a single individual to shape the fate of nations, for better or worse. Though his life ended in exile and defeat, the impact of his actions continued to reverberate through the Peloponnesian War and beyond, shaping not only Athens and Sparta but the entire Greek world. Alcibiades remains a compelling figure in the study of history, a reminder that the qualities that make a leader great, ambition, charisma, and intelligence, can also lead to their downfall if not tempered by loyalty, humility, and wisdom. His story serves as both an inspiration and a warning, a testament to the complex and often precarious nature of power. In a larger sense, Alcibiades represented the best and worst of Athenian democracy. His charisma and eloquence allowed him to sway the assembly to his vision, demonstrating the power of oratory and public opinion in a democracy. However, his ability to manipulate public sentiment for his own ends also revealed the vulnerabilities of democratic systems, which can be susceptible to demagoguery and individual ambition when not balanced by restraint and accountability. Despite his flaws, Alcibiades' influence on Greek history was profound. He showed the world the power of a single individual to shape the fate of nations, for better or worse. Though his life ended in exile and defeat, the impact of his actions continued to reverberate through the Peloponnesian War and beyond, shaping not only Athens and Sparta but the entire Greek world.